Welcome to the Live Your Mission Live show with Joe Orsak here, hosted by, or sponsored by, I should say, Go 7 Life, the best price in life insurance guaranteed. We put our money where our mouth is. If we can't meet or beat your quote, I will pay you $100. How you like them apples? I've got a rock star of a speaker today. I've been sharing this post. This is something I really love talking about. It's something I'm a big fan of, which is building referral business. Who doesn't like referral business? It is the best kind of business. And how to network, how to go out and create that business by connecting with people. There's a skill to doing it. It's not just random running around shoving your card in people's face and say, hey, call me. Do you need somebody? I'm desperate. I'm like practically out of business right now. If you don't send me some business tomorrow, I might not even be around. My kids are already, CPS took them. We don't have any money. We can't feed them. I've been eating beans for the last 3 weeks. Please give me some business. Here's my card. Call me. It's not quite that bad, right? But we've all met that person at the networking event. Well, I've got a networking guru on the show with me here today. I'm on Go Live here with Mr. Tim Stroud. Mr. Tim Stroud is a friend of mine for many years now. I don't have enough good things to say about Tim. One of the coolest cats I know. Just a genuinely good person, but from the day I met him, I was always massively impressed with his networking technique, his skill. It's not fake, it's a genuine connection, and he's got a lot to share with us today. And so without too much further ado, I want to turn it over to Tim here so that Tim can tell us a little bit about himself and what he's up to, and then let's dive into his subject. So, networking like a pro with Mr. Tim Stroud. Tim, how you doing today, buddy?
Joe, I am doing unbelievably well, and I have references. Thank you very much.
Yay!
And Joe, equally, one of the things I loved about you, number one, you have a servant's heart, and you definitely are in the business of helping other people achieve their goals, and that shows time and time again every time that you meet with somebody. So thank you for what you do, today included.
Thank you, sir. Whenever I find something good, I want to share it, man. Whenever I find something good, I want to share it. And to me,
that's awesome. And so the other thing that I love about you is that you are what I like to call a master networker. And you know that having an established network become a critical part of any business, but definitely in our professional and our personal lives, it's crucial because you have to check your five. My mentor was Paul J. Meyer, and he was an Army veteran, and he taught me, he's like, this is the secret. It wasn't Curly in City Slickers. This is the secret to life. It's basically, this is, but also this. And it's 15 or 51, either one. It's the 5 people that you surround yourself on a continuous basis. If you're fabulous 5, if they're broke, guess, if you're not already broke, guess where you're headed.
Yes, sir.
If they're successful, just by proxy, they're going to take you along with you. And we're going to talk to those points just a little bit in these. And this is a 5-hour show, right?
Yep, 5 hours.
I know we've got less than 30 minutes to dig in here. And so I'm going to hit the top points, and I'm going to try to drill down. And I know this is not a soliloquy. So you and I are going to be bouncing back and forth. We're going to be pinging, and we're going to be ponging to make sure that we get those points across. Right, Joe?
Yes, absolutely right.
Right. Well, with your top 5, you definitely want to build genuine relationships. People know, doesn't matter if it's through social media, if it's on the phone, or if it's face-to-face. They know when you're trying to sell them something. And that speaks volumes to your character, either for you or against you. It used to be a saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right, Joe?
Correct.
But that has even changed, another shift in the paradigm. It's who knows you. And we teach the process in our classes of dig the well before you're thirsty. My grandfather taught me this, and he was an Air Force veteran, and I always kind of thought he was a little batty. but what a great guy. He was half Sicilian and half Cherokee, and he had a lot of life lessons to teach me. And this was one of the most beneficial. And I figured it out right as I was going into the military as a combat medic, is that you want to build those people. And so, it's your 5, but also those that have the skill sets to help you out in your time of need. You definitely need to know somebody who can handle finances. You need to know an attorney or a group of attorneys, a plumber, electrician, somebody who knows how to work on vehicles. The list goes on and on, but fill your top 5 with some of those if you haven't already, because if your car breaks down, and it doesn't matter if you're driving the latest and greatest from across the ocean, or if you're driving domestic, if you haven't worked on a car since they've had a carburetor, you're going to be in trouble, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing that the second point is to help your network. And too often times, people don't really embrace what servant leadership is all about. One of the networking groups that a lot of successful entrepreneurs belong to, it's called BNI. Now, this isn't a commercial for Business Networking International, but it's a great platform. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you know, their motto is givers gain. And it's the whole process of giving something in order to share that experience and get something back. It's the rule of reciprocity. And because during the ask, you've got to be specific. A lot of people say that word of mouth is the best form of advertisement. But if your 5 have no idea what you do or how to specifically ask someone else and help you market your services, and what is your best referral, what does your best client look like? If they don't know, oh my goodness, how are the people that they know? And that's how you expand your network. And you see it time and time when you go to events, and it ties in with the next thing. And too often somebody goes into business, whether they're selling cars, insurance, houses. I mean, there's only 30,000 licensed realtors in the city of Houston, right, Joe?
Yeah, just a few, almost 40,000.
Yeah, exactly. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting them. And notice I hey dog, cat, right? I was it's a dead cat. And so if you swing it, you're going to hit a realtor out there. And so the fortune is in the follow-up. And the reason I say this, because when you go out to networking events, or if you're meeting somebody on the street, and you hand them a business card, say you're still in the Stone Ages and you're giving your mini billboard. So if you're going to carry those business cards, make sure you have them with you 100% of the time. But I'm going to show you another way that you can actually improve upon that model and move forward. But if you're giving somebody your information, you haven't collected anything off them. You're pushing the information out there. So you want to collect their information to truly help them out and not sell them anything. And with that, the fortune is in the follow-up. When you go to those events or throughout your day, and you're handing out card after card, and you look like a casino dealer at a poker table, what value is that, right, Joe?
Exactly.
Sometimes one potential client is all you need to connect with at the event. Sometimes 15 is not enough. You have to be the decision maker on that one. And that's how many you can properly and professionally follow up with, because there's nothing worse than coming home and having a stack of business cards that are sitting on your desk doing nothing. And so I can tell you right now, there are about 24, I counted, 24 people right here. But what I've done is I've used technology to my advantage. There's an app and it's free. Let me share that with you. It's Abby, ABBYY. It's a business card reader. And I think you may be able to see that. I'm not sure about the angle. I think if I tilt it, you can see it pretty good there. And so in there, it gives you a feature to where you just touch the camera, and now you're able to scan one of the pictures, the cards. This is Representative Rick Miller, great guy. And this is Chief of Staff. So I scan her card and whoop, it makes that sound. It goes right in my phone. And if you set up the information properly, it boomerangs your information right to her. That's a free system right there. and you can follow up with them. It saves them to your contacts, or if you use another system, it can also save it to that system. Do you use that one, Joe?
I don't. That's a very handy tip there.
Yeah, thank you. And there's another digital way, we'll tie into that one at the very end on this one. One of the other things that I recommend to anybody that wants to be successful is diversify your events. Too often times we only go with what you know, and you're going to go to the same events. It's the same Rotary every Friday morning at 7 o'clock. It's the same Chamber of Commerce mixer every third Thursday. If you're not making it exciting and going around and meet new people, maybe it's time to actually change part of your network. And with technology these days, you can actually play network roulette. I love this term. So you can spin the wheel. So googly doodle it. Look at some of the things that are out there. You can network with a ton of apps that are on your phone. Look at the events that are in the greater Houston area, if that's where you live, and look at where you would normally go. Instead of going to that event, expand your population of your network. Look at something that it may not fit into your normal view. Hey, it could be a gold mine for you, or it could just be a learning tool for you out there. There's a story of two shoe salesmen that travel to the Bahamas. The first guy sends an email back to his company. He's like, hurry up, get me off this flippin' island. Nobody wears shoes here. And the second guy, he's sending an email and he's like, send cases and cases. He's like, what a market. Nobody's wearing shoes.
Yes.
You get to be the decision maker of where you're going to go. And as if you couldn't tell, yeah, you need to have some fun out there when you're doing things. Otherwise, you're going to get stagnant. And you look at any body of water, what makes it inviting is that it's fresh. It's something that's new. And you look at the Pony Express. Do you know what the secret to the Pony Express was, Joe?
No. Horses?
Yes, specifically. What kind of horses?
Fast horses?
Yes. Keep going.
That's about the extent of my knowledge of the Pony Express.
No, you've got two of the major three components there.
Wow.
So the last key component to the Pony Express is they brought in fresh horses. You would ride them place to place. And so your networking events should be no different, and your group of people should be diverse. The great thing about the Pony Express riders, they were fearless. You need to be fearless when you go to these networking events. I didn't say be callous and aloof or be cocky. I said fearless. And that means leading with love and having the big guy on your side. And Joe, you actually taught me this one. Be the host. Even if it's... Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in one of her books, Mindy Kaling suggested that you make a list of the people that you would think would be the greatest mentors and try to get close enough to them to steal their Wi-Fi. I love that one. Great approach, isn't it?
That's a great line.
And
Try
so
to get close enough to steal their Wi-Fi. I'm going to rip that one off.
There we go. Yeah, just give Mindy credit for the first 3 times and it's yours, right?
Right. Exactly.
And so when you do that, you go out to the event. When I say be the host, what you need to do is look around for the things that make us comfortable. We like knowing where the exits are, where the bathrooms are. If there's refreshments, where are they? The food, is there a cost? What's going on? Get there early. Network with those hosts and let them know, say, hey, look, I'm Tim. You don't know me, but I'm a great friend of Joe Orsak's. He invited me out to this event. He's not here yet. He got stuck in Houston traffic. Did you need any help setting up? Wow. If you're a host, that's pretty strong. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because usually people make a beeline, whoop, right for the drinks. Is like, okay, it's time to hit the mini bar. We're going to pull some back.
So true.
Yeah. And so with this one, if you can eat early or even before you go to the event, my suggestion is just that. So the last thing you do is you want to go to an event and people are trying to have a conversation and you got because you're eating the entire time. If you're hungry or thirsty and you're going to those events for the freebies, people know. They look around And if they're like me, they're going to people watch and they're going to see you be like, see Sally over there? Yeah. That's her third glass of wine. And yeah, we're 30 the sucker, right?
Yeah.
Unless Sally's going to sing some karaoke and there's no microphone, you probably want to stay from the wine on that many levels. And there's another one. When you go out and network, know the rule too. Always take somebody with you, a battle buddy, but also follow the 2-drink rule. If you take a battle buddy, number one, you're more comfortable. It's like going to a dance. You go to a dance and everybody wants a You go out there, it's like, even if you don't know the you go out there with a friend, you guys can be funny together and have a blast. Plus your buddy can keep you in check. If you're nervous, you may tend to over imbibe. And trust me on this one, I'm guilty when I got out of the military. I was so nervous. And it cost me in the beginning because I didn't get sick. I just didn't feel me. I had a couple drinks, and I never drink tequila on an empty stomach, but I made an exception, and that got me there. Oh, don't do it. But Mel Robbins also has written a book, and I don't know if you've read this one, Joe, and it's called The 5-Second Rule.
Very nice.
One of our buddies, Mike Nash, loaned it to me through Impact a Hero, and in it, Mel Robbins talks about pretty much NASA. She woke up one day, and she was scared. She was scared to move forward and do everything, just get out of bed. And she's like, you know what? She'd watched, there was something to do with rockets or NASA the night before, and it was still in her psyche, that elephant just walking around in her brain. And she's like, you know what? The ant picked up on it, and that conscious said, you know what? Let's just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And she launched herself out of bed, and she's like, you know what? How many decisions on a daily basis does it boil down to 5 seconds? There's that number again, 5. And will it change, or dramatically change, or alter the way that I see life today of how I can move forward and how I can help out someone else? And I think too often times that we look at it and we overanalyze things and we get paralysis of Joe.
Absolutely.
And with that, the 5-second rule, why don't you practice that today? And you don't have to say it out loud because people are like, why is Tim counting down again to figure out what's going on? But if you're networking and you're like, ooh, that's the president of the organization, and you've done your research and you know who she is, that you need to talk to her. She's the decision maker, and you've caught her without her gatekeeper at a networking event, but you scared. Don't be scared. Just count down from 5 to 1. Blast off. Go talk to her, but know what you're going to say. Don't get over there on the 1-yard line and fumble it. You need to get over there and actually have a meaningful conversation. And Joe, what are some of the things that you talk to people about when you're out networking?
Well, I found that one, the secret to dating and networking is both the same, right?
Okay.
And that is that a person's favorite subject is themselves. And
right.
So simply asking a lot of questions about that person, right? I have come up with, statements where people will say things like, so what do you do? And I'll go, as little as possible. And then I laugh and I say, but enough about me. What do you do? Right?
Right.
And then invariably, it's killing the person. They have to know what I do now. They're like, it's their curiosity is killing them. So
right.
I literally will make a person kind of work hard to find out about me because I'm so intrigued or interested in them. And I found that when you do that in life, you can literally not tell a person anything about you. I've had it happen before. I talked to a guy for 2 hours, and at the end of the conversation, he literally said, what do you do? I pointed across the parking lot at the sign of our business at the time, which I still own, the company called Improve My Credit USA. And by the end of the conversation, had told him nothing other than pointing across the parking lot at the sign of our building. He said, I can tell that you're one of those companies that's a trustworthy company. And he went on this long thing about what he thought about my company. But literally, I told him nothing about my company. But because I spent time just being engaged with him and interested in him and what he was up to and what he was doing, he transferred all those feelings of talking about what he was up to me and my business. So
that's perfect.
Powerful tip to share. If you're going to network, spend most of your time learning about the person that's standing in front of you and less time talking about yourself.
Man, you're exactly right, Joe. And that ties into LinkedIn and Facebook. When you look at our digital world, I mean, we have our lives literally at our fingertips. And if you're in the professional world and you've got those pictures on your Facebook or Instagram, you may want to make those accounts private, because even if you look great in a bikini, and I do, man, I got great legs. And so, no, really, I have no idea. I don't wear bikinis. But anyhow, you want to make those pictures private, because that is not the professional image. Unless you're a model, you're in that world, then make those public. But I've seen some ladies, and it hits the ladies so much harder than the men. I know it's a double standard, but it is what it is. I had a female veteran that was, and they say female in the military, I know she was a lady, but I had a female veteran. She was a Marine, lived in Austin, wanted to move to Houston, and I got her an interview. The top 3 spots in an interview, I got her moved up right to the front. And the day before, I Googled all of her stuff, and I said, holy smokes. You can make those pictures private? She's like, that's my life, Tim. I'm a model. I was like, well, you were a model, and you're still very beautiful. I'm not taking that away from you. I just said that some of those pictures may not represent the professional life that you're trying to transition into. She's like, no, I think they're fine. Well, she got in there and she edged out one of the other people in the competition. So it was between her and one other. And they did the exact same thing, Joe. They looked at LinkedIn and they Googled her social media. And she came with pictures that they could not have as a representation of their company. And so know what your social media life looks like. Have friends Google your stuff, have them look at your LinkedIn profile. And after they look at your LinkedIn profile, they're kind of vested now. Ask them for a recommendation. If there's one of the categories that you're not far enough in that bar graph, have them do that one, and then have them write that recommendation. The best way to have them write that recommendation is that you ghostwrite it. Have them fill in the rest of it with personal experiences. That way now it's a true representation of what you want people to see. One of the things, before we close up, I know we got about 5 minutes, Joe.
Yeah.
When you look at some of the apps that are out there, I use one called Mobility. It's a V card. It's a virtual card. And so I think you may be able to see this one. It's a picture of my bald head. Has all my social media links at the top, what we do, how to connect with me. And so with that one, I have somebody text me to a certain number. I think it's 76626. They text Tim to that number. They get my V card. I don't have to carry the little billboards around with me, or I can text it directly to them. With that, I get their information. Now I can follow up with them. And one of the greatest things you can do when you're at a networking event, this is key. My mentor taught me this 10 years ago. He said, always carry something to write with, something to write on, and something to take pictures with. Luckily, we got it all right here. Be the photographer. If they don't have a professional photographer at the event, guess who it is? It's you. iPhones are great. The Droids are even better. They just have better pixels. It's called pixels. What is it, Joe?
Resolution. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Regardless.
Yeah. You're going to make you just started a war right there. We're going to have Apple people chiming in.
War! Man, let's go.
Yeah.
And with that, the apps, now I'm not talking about snapping pictures with the apps and doing all the filters and all that fancy schmancy stuff. You can, but don't put rabbit ears on your boss unless that's exactly what she likes. But with that, take the picture. People love pictures of groups, people having fun. Remember, as you're taking the picture, ask people to set their drinks down. You're not trying to incriminate anybody. You're showing them their great time at an event, and you'll love it. I actually did this with Dr. Oz when I was in Dallas giving a speech up there for female veterans. And he had his beer in his hand. I said, hey, Doc, pull that behind your back and set that down. I took the pictures and we posted them on social media. He's like, hey, Doc. He's like, that's solid. I was a medic in the Army. The fact he called me Doc, that was fun. And so I got to meet him, and then he brought me backstage to meet Amy Grant and her husband, Vince Gill. We had an amazing time. Had I not done that solid for him, who knows? Right. The other thing, as you're moving forward, that's another reason where you get to have that touch with that person. You're sending them that picture. Hey, have a great time with this one. There's another thing that you can do, and a mutual friend of ours introduced me to this one. It's called mobile. It's called send out cards. And with this one, go to the event. I take the picture, and Tara Wagner, I think we can probably put her link up to what she's doing. She showed me this trick, Joe, and number one, that follow-up is amazing. You take a great picture of the event. You may send it to them through your app, but now take that time from your phone. It takes about a minute. You can put a personal message in there, and it will send them a real card or postcard, and you never have to print it out. You never have to handwrite the message. You never have to stop at the post office. And it's pennies a day. I absolutely love that one.
Yeah, it's a great tool. I use it as well.
Yeah, isn't that cool to get a postcard in the mail? I think I sent you one from Vegas, right?
Yes, you did. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, there we go. And then if you really want to look like a leader and somebody who's a master networker, remember that you want to remember their name, and then you want to give them a referral. A good referral partner will listen and get them a referral within 24 hours, at least get them closer to their goal. Somebody who's amazing will network at the event and make that connection while they're there.
Yeah, that's a great that's a great little tip at the end there, Tim. I mean, if you can become the connector at the event, make it your mission. First, as you said, to play the host. Second, to spend your time learning about them rather than talking about yourself. And then once you've learned about them, making it a mission to try to find someone to connect them with at the event. Whew, that is a powerful little trifecta of behaviors for a network professional.
Excellent. And in closing, Joe, the only other two things is that your calendar doesn't lie. If you love spending time with your kids or your profession or your charities, mark it out on your calendar. I use Google Calendar or my Gmail calendar, and I put my networking in yellow. That's time for me. It's neutral. Could be great, could be not so great, but I want to make sure that I delineate that time and I put travel to and from it, and I mark it off on my calendar. Otherwise, it simply doesn't happen. And in closing, you need to be able to talk to somebody one-on-one, small groups, and then sometimes a great presentations, or just like this, through social media and through your friends. Attend a Toastmasters meeting. You can attend the first couple times for free. It's a public professional speaking group, and they're going to help you tell your story. Facts tell and stories sell. Would you agree, Joe?
Absolutely.
Ooh, and I got a quick question. Do we have time? I can do my last little question.
Absolutely, man. Go ahead.
All right. So this is going to illustrate the point that facts tell and stories sell. If you're giving out the facts, you're like, yeah, man, I nailed them with that presentation. You think you did great. You may not have landed pay dirt like you are, hit pay dirt like you thought. So I'm going to give you the facts about a movie. I think you know this one, Joe. But for all of our listeners out there, I'm going to give you just the facts. Let's see if you can name the movie in the comments. A young lady travels to a foreign land, and she kills the first person she comes in contact, to the astonishment of all the local natives. Then she links up with 3 others. They conspire, and she kills again. Name the movie. I know. It's like, let me give you a hint. It's not Kill Bill. Most people think so. And over 90% of the population has seen this movie. It's had tons of remakes. It's been made into a cartoon. And yes, most children watch it. You're like, oh my goodness, what is this? It's The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy traveled to Oz, lands a house on the witch, links up with the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Woodsman, and the Scarecrow. and then they hunt down the broom and go to the witch, throws a bucket of water, she kills the other witch. Crazy, right, Joe?
Yeah. It's all in how you tell the story.
That's exactly right. Joe, thank you for the time today. I love talking about networking like a pro, and I'm glad to talk with another industry professional and share it with your audience.
You bet. Tim, how do people find you? Where can I tell people to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. They can simply go to timothystroud.com, or I just got a brand new site and it's getting ready to come up, so I'll put that in the comments later on that. But that the timothystroud.com links you to my LinkedIn page and all my other stuff that's out there.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, awesome to have you on, man. Some great just bullet point ideas here again, guys. Tim shared with us one of the first steps is build genuine relationships. The second point was once you build those relationships, you're out at your networking events, you want to stay in touch with them. Who cares if you get 1 million cards if you follow up with none of them? 3, go digital. There's a bunch of great tools that Tim mentioned. You want to watch the video again if you missed this point. A lot of great apps and a lot of great services that you can use. Some of them free that are just phenomenal tools. The 4th thing is diversify your events. Don't burn out the same audience over and over and over again. And then the last thing is be fearless. And I shared a link to a past show on my YouTube channel called Fear is a Lie. If you have fear in networking, you're just kind of afraid, what do I say, what do I do, all that sort of thing, go watch that video, Fear is a Lie, and it's going to help you out there. YouTube.com/Joe Orsak. That's where I post all these post-show videos. I edit them and drop in a little music and stuff and beef it up, and they're a lot of fun, so go check that out. But there we go, guys. That was the information that Tim shared with us today. Very good information, Tim. I always appreciate you being on, and anytime you want to be on, dude, anytime you've got a message you want to share, I'm happy to have you on.
Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate it. Happy 4th of July to you and everybody out there.
Outstanding, man. Thanks for being on, buddy. I'll catch you later.
All right.
All right, guys, that was the Live Your Mission live show with Tim Stroud, networking like a pro. Great material. Highly recommend watching it again. He shared a ton of information. I don't even know if you realize, if you had to really go in and outline all the stuff that he shared, he gave us a ton of information in just a 30-minute window. Some great apps, some great techniques. There was I'm going to find it. I'm going to make this a little clip, a little trifecta of things that you can do that absolutely kill when you're at a networking event. How to be better at creating referral business. The guy is a pro. He's a master. And if you didn't catch the whole thing, you need to go watch it from the beginning over and over, because he shared a lot of great information. I will be back next week, again, Tuesday at 10 o'clock with yet another industry expert to share tips, guidance. I mean, guys, Tim just came on for free, shared a ton of information that he has gotten paid to share, and he gave it all to you guys for free. So be sure to check him out, support him, and support the show. Live Your Mission, loveyourlife.com. Live Your Mission, loveyourlife.com. I'm putting it back up on the screen there. Live Your Mission, loveyourlife.com. Tons of cool inspirational shirts and stuff over there. Go check it out, and we'll see you again next week, Tuesday. I am out.